Now, if you are considering buying or selling a property, but you're a bit unsure about how the process actually works and how the process actually takes place, then in this video, we'll be looking at 11 of the typical steps that are part of the property transfer process.
Transferring the ownership of a property from a seller to a buyer can sometimes be a bit of a complicated and misunderstood process. Now, on average, the process takes around 3 months from the date of sale until the property is registered in the new owner's name. So let's have a look at the 11 typical steps that are required to transfer a residential property. So step 1. Sign the offer to purchase. The buyer signs an offer to purchase, an OTP. So the sale agreement or deed of sale is a binding contract between the buyer and the seller that forms the basis of the transaction. Step 2. The buyer or the bond originator applies to the bank for finance. Step 3. The estate agent will send the sale agreement to the transferring attorney. Now, one of the 3 attorneys that will be appointed during this process. So if there is an existing bond over the property, the transferring attorney will then contact the seller's bank and request the original title deed and then also the cancellation figures. So the cancellation figures, that will be the figure that is required to settle the seller's bond. Step 4, the buyer's bank will then instruct the bond attorney to register a home loan or a mortgage bond or a bond. In essence, that all means the same thing. So this is a special loan that uses the fixed property as security and is registered with the deeds office. Step 5, the seller's bank instructs its attorney, the cancellation attorney, to cancel the seller's bond. Now the cancellation attorney then sends the title deed and guarantee requirements to the bond attorney and the transferring attorney. Step 6, the transferring attorney requests a rate clearance certificate from the local authority. Now, according to the South African law, a property can only be transferred once all municipal charges and associated costs have been paid in full to the relevant parties. Now, once this is done, a rates clearance certificate will be issued by the local council. So the seller may be required to pay a few months in advance to obtain the certificate. However, any credit on the account on the date of transfer will be refunded to the seller. So at this stage, the transferring attorney will also do a deeds office search to check all the details of the property. Now, after all this has been done, the transferring attorney will assemble and prepare the required documentation, which can take round about up to 3 weeks. Step 7. Now, at this stage, the buyer will be contacted by the transferring attorney to come in and sign the documents, or the documents will be sent to them. So if you are a buyer, it can be helpful to be prepared for this by getting the following documentation in order. It's going to be, for instance, your proof of address, not older than 3 months, a certified copy of your ID, your income tax number, your declaration in respect of your marital status, and then also your solvency status. So all these documents will be needed to meet the FICA, or the Financial Intelligence Center Act requirements. Step 8, the buyer pays the transfer costs and his or her share of the rates and tax. Now, a pro forma account will be presented to the buyer with the estimated costs. So the buyer will receive a final count after the property has been registered and the actual costs are known. So the costs vary because the date of registration is unknown at this stage of the process, and a portion of the costs are determined by this date. Step 9, lodging. So what happens now is the transferring attorney instructs the lodging attorney to lodge the documents at the deeds office. So the lodging attorney is located near the deeds office and acts on behalf of the transferring attorney, who may not necessarily be in the vicinity. So the lodging attorney then will contact both the cancelling attorney and the bond attorney to ensure that all the documents are lodged on the same day. Now, the documents must be registered at the same time because the seller's bank has guarantees to ensure it will be paid when the bond is cancelled and they are not prepared to cancel a bond until the new bond is registered. Examination by the deeds office. Now, a deeds office examiner will carefully check that all the documentation is there. Now, this will take between 7 and 10 working days, depending on how busy the deeds office is. Now, once the documents have been examined, the examiner will contact all the attorneys to inform them that the documents are in order and will be registered on the following day. Step 11, registration. Now, the documents are registered, the buyer becomes the owner of the property, and the seller is paid out the net proceeds. Now, at this stage, the estate agent will also be paid their commission. The transferring attorney will at this stage also send the original title deed to the buyer's bank. Now, in the instance where the buyer does not have a bond, the title deed will be sent directly to the buyer.
So I hope that this video gave you a bit of a better understanding about how the process could actually work when you actually go and buy or sell a property. Now, if you like this video, please go down below and just give it a bit of a thumbs up. You can also go and subscribe to my channel where I'll be posting new videos each week. Otherwise, you can just go and have a look at some of the other videos when it comes to buying or selling your home.